So hello all and welcome. It is I, the realist, also known as the bachelor philosopher, because if you're a realist as a man, you're gonna be a bachelor, and if you're a bachelor, that probably means you're a realist. So how y'all doing today? Hope you're all doing good, fine, and well. I'm doing okay, I'm doing alright, I'm doing. So, it turns out that Tarl Warwick is not the only one that's having a hard time. He's not the only one that's going through some troubles. Just as like attracts like. And Tarl is having a rough go of it by his own hand. So his ex live-in whatever she was to him, ham-fisted, knocking at his teeth with said ham fist, slam pig, Nikki Turkovic, if that's how it's pronounced. He's having a rough time. She's not raising the money she wants from these people at Kiwi Farms, these people who have been harassing and haranguing her on the farms, insulting her constantly, telling her how much they don't like her. Your favorite BPD broad. Out of all three of them, we find you least objectionable. She's surprised they don't want to give her money. Imagine that. So she's freaking out. Freaking out. She's having a, episode on the farm. So let's check this stuff out because, man, I love comedy, and this is comedy gold, baby. Okay, so the ham hock is posting, and somebody asks her, somebody named Stinkum says, do you have a child? So Sickmet says, yes, I have a 10-year-old child. Whoa, that's great. Because of course, child, of course she has a child. And of course Sticks is getting with a, not only a bloated warthog, but a single mother bloated warthog. Because of course he is. That is the best Tarl can get. Borderline personality disorder, mentally ill, homeless, living in her car, sucking down Colt 40s, single mama. Yeah, the child is being raised in Sweden. Jeez, it's interesting. So Tarl was over there in that region of the world with his wife, and this chick was over there with whatever this guy was. I know the unique pain that Tarl feels at not being able to see his daughter grow up. The way you say that sort of implies that it's through no fault of his own and it's just something that happened to him. But no. He was able to see his child, and he'd be able to see his child if he wasn't a drunken, lecherous, a drug addict, a hedonist, a devil worshiper who made all the wrong choices in life. Okay? So he'd be able. He's not able, but you don't say why, because that would also reflect poorly on you. The difference is, I did not have the money to stay in Sweden. Okay. So you didn't marry and have him be the breadwinner. You didn't marry the baby daddy of your kid because, of course not, because you think polykills work. Meanwhile, you're living in your car, and they never work. I used up all my money traveling back and forth, and you're such a victim. And even trying to get my partner to move to the United States. Well, who told you to have a child with a guy that lives in Sweden? Huh? And who told you to make that your main domicile? He was here with me for a short time, then decided to take my child back to Sweden. What are you saying? He fled the jurisdiction and kidnapped your kid to another country? I'm pretty sure we have extradition with Sweden, so why isn't the American government pressed kidnapping charges and had him extradited back to the United States to face charges? So we know there's already quite a bit. We know there's already quite a bit missing here. Then I fought through the courts and failed to have my son returned. Okay, so you're such a bad mom that the courts let this dude leave the country, even though usually that requires the permission of the other parent. Wow, you must be a disaster as a parent. He must have been given full... And even, by the way, isn't it the case that even if one parent gets full total custody, that the other parent still gets some kind of visitation and has the right to sign off on whether or not that kid is taken out of the state? The only way that you would lose that right is if the courts essentially signed it away and said, you're such a bad parent, we're not even going to give you that. Wow. So there's a lot being said here by her not saying it. The relationship fell through because my partner has Asperger's. Oh, wow. Yeah, of course. Yeah, but you're a brilliant genius, right? Because brilliant geniuses attract brilliant geniuses, but you attract dudes with Asperger's and who think they're pirates. Got it. Had never been in a relationship before. Okay, whatever. Yeah, you're a victim. Yeah. Amazingly, I heal his agoraphobia. Oh yeah. You're by giving him a child that he wanted. Because now he has an excuse to go outside. Wow, you cured his agoraphobia. Well, good for you, sweetie. Maybe you should get like a, professional counselor's license. Maybe you should go into, I don't know, the pseudoscience, the grift that is psychology, so that you can supposedly help people. Oh, wait, you tried to do that and flunked out of university. All right. Continue. They are very happy together, and Eric is a great dad, although not a sufficient partner. Oh, he's not the sufficient partner. Even though you're the one the courts took all the rights away from. I'm guessing, speculating that it's because you're such a bad parent. I mean, let's be honest, you're a woman in America. You have tons of female privilege. The entire family court system is rigged in your favor. So the only way that you could lose all rights, including the right to say whether or not that kid is taken out of the state, let alone the country, is to be the worst human being possible. But continue, like it most, and even that sometimes the courts won't give away all your rights. They will take them all away. I mean, you really got to be objectionable to not be able to have a say in whether or not your child is taken out of the country. Like in most relationships, yeah, which you know very little about by your own admission, and yet you still continue to try and be in them. I had tried to force this one and make it last for too long. Yeah, again, the fault does not lie with you, just in your want, your need, your desire to make things work. You're just, gosh darn it, you're too plucky and get up and go, and you're too optimistic, and you just try too hard. You're just too determined. Notice how there's no negative adjectives there, no qualifiers of a pejorative nature. Everything this woman says about herself when supposedly taking accountability is positive. Interesting. I bowed down backwards to appease my partner and understand now that it was wrong. Yeah, I was too accommodating. And he took advantage. All I can do is learn to live and grow. Did you knock his teeth out too? Twice now I've fallen into a trap where I fell in love with an online persona. Online persona? This guy with Asperger's is also online? Gee, what are the odds of that? So this, oh jeez, these broads, these BPD broads, oh, these borderline broads, jeez Louise, they all got, especially, including Tarl's ex-wife, they all want to go after the clout, the fame, the attention of these big personalities. They think they can ride their coattails to some kind of success of their own. The problem is that, you got to have some talent, or at least be very, very good looking, which you ain't. And I don't think his ex-wife really is either. And there's plenty of competition out there for the simp bucks. So, yeah, you got to at least have some talent in addition to looks. You got none, and his ex-wife also has none. So, I mean, by the way, his ex-wife supposedly also someone who thinks she's a philosopher. Like this, lacking in self-awareness, broad. Yeah. Yeah, Tarl definitely has a type. Somebody who has an over-exaggerated sense of their own ability, intelligence, and importance in the world. Yeah. Only to discover the person underneath is a wretched beast. So now her ex-whatever, not husband, because if this was an ex-husband, we'd be hearing about that. That'd be clout for her. I was married. He was my hubby. See, I can commit. I'm someone you should take serious. I've had a hubby. No, you haven't. See, somebody committed to me, but they really didn't, so... Only to discover they're a wretched beast. So all the descriptors she uses for her Ex-partners are pejoratives. And then any mistakes she made are because she's so great, so wonderful, so loving, so caring, so accommodating, so open. You seen a trend here? Yeah. I don't blame Eric, though. Yeah, you just called him a wretched beast that takes advantage of poor wayward woman. That sounds like blaming to me. What do you call it? Oh, I was naive. I called it. Prognosticator of all prognosticators, baby. I was naive and made many mistakes. Yes, all good. All good, by the way, right? Yeah. Just your loving, caring, open nature. Yeah. I have a type, and that's an intelligent, string bean, agoraphobic autist. Right. Yeah. She thinks Tarl's hot. She thinks Tarl is the epitome of attractiveness. Oh, my God. Your type clearly doesn't fall in line with what is objectively attractive to most people. That's for sure. So somebody named Mick Russum said, what does Ed do with Pam when she's in full-blown Glazer Chong mode? Like, he doesn't drink, doesn't smoke. His child's a gosh darn disgrace. What do they do to enjoy their time? Is Pam still getting deed down from Ed? Geez, we want to hear about the escapades of Charles' parents. Why not? They actually have a great relationship with minimal arguing. This is from a broad that is, suffering from numerous personality disorders. She's mentally ill, has never had a functional relationship in her life, comes from a dysfunctional household. So I don't really think she's the, authority to be going to on what is or is not a good relationship. She has no idea. She's never seen or experienced one personally. I would imagine they still get down in the sack. You would imagine. Okay. They watch TV together in the basement. In the basement? Okay. Thought that was Tarl's abode. Bridge-dwelling troll that he is. While she smokes and laughs her ass off. I honestly wish I had a husband so agreeable and nice. He even tolerates her snoop level of toking. Oh my gosh. What do you mean toking? She smoking pot? In her mid to late 60s? All right. Yeah, I guess we know where Tarl gets it from. Yellow teeth and all. Okay, so Stinkum replies, it looks like the courts ordered the child returned to your custody. Did the Swedish courts refuse? She says I don't know. Well, so much for all that money you spent to not even know what the Swedish courts had to say. I am so involved in trying to get my child back from my evil, horrible, wretched beast of a slam pig, whatever this guy, autistic guy was, Asperger's dude. I'm so involved in that effort that I have no idea what the Swedish government decided. I'm so concerned about my kid. I don't know why the Swedish government hasn't returned him. Does that jive, or does that contradict her earlier statement that she put all this time and effort into getting her kid back? I don't know why you say I was granted custody. Okay. Well, I mean, you don't even know what the your custody status is of your kid in regards to any rulings the Swedish government has made. So it's not too hard to conclude that you may not even know what your legal status is as a parent to this child here in the U.S. But anyway, it's a weird situation. Yes. I was splitting my time between Sweden and the U.S., but I had my child on American soil, so he has an American citizenship. Okay. After having him, I went back to Sweden for some time. Where'd you live? Okay. Yeah, you and this guy made up and were banging and clanging, I guess. Yeah. Well, like she said, he has no real experience with woman. Or is that her and he had plenty? I don't know. And then thought I had convinced my partner to move to the U.S. Okay. 3 of us flew over here. I got an apartment. How? Okay. Oh, with help from your parents. Jeez. Do you have Asperger's? I wouldn't be surprised. Are you autistic? Why'd your parents stop helping you? Turn on them too? Punch one of them in the mouth as well. But then Eric pulled the rug out from under me and flew back to Sweden with my son. Oh, no warning, just for no reason whatsoever. He got up one day and said, I'm not really feeling it. Last night wasn't the best. I'm out of here. And leaves you sleeping, says nothing. Gets an Uber or a Lyft to the airport, and he's gone. And then you wake up, and there's a Dear John letter or nothing. and by the time you realize it, he's already back in Sweden. What? Something's not right here. There's definitely some context missing. There's definitely a lot of information missing. Again, I would love to hear this guy's side of the story. It's like her incident with Tarl. She's talking like she's some kind of victim, and then we hear from Tarl, and it's a very, very different state of affairs we get from him. I woke her up, knocked out my tooth. We talked to her. Oh, there was some rigmarole. We were fighting. I tried to grab him to stop him from grabbing a sword from underneath a mattress, and we wrestled, and I booped him in the nose and the tooth with my wrist, which doesn't have any marks on it, surprisingly, to prove my side of the story, and it loosened the tooth, and then I ran away. It's a very, very convoluted story. Sounds like the exaggerations of a liar who's trying too hard to sound believable. And then we got this. He just vanished. I don't know why. Oh, really? Okay, honey. Yeah, he pulled the rug out from under you. It was all a sick game to him. Oh, yeah. Again, the man is the bad guy. Yeah, because of course he is. Yeah. You can tell this broad hates men. Another reason to avoid Western broads. The majority of them hate you. I said it was a weird situation because there was no child custody ruling. I had to invoke a Hague Convention case because that is how you deal with international child custody disputes. Is it? Maybe you should have hired a lawyer. Oh, I had no money. At the time, my son was living in Sweden, so they let him stay there. Who? Again. Okay, anyway. Wait, you didn't go to a U.S. court and get custody? So that's why. So all this work and effort and time and money you put in is bunk because you have no child custody ruling from an American court, even though all you'd have to do, hire a lawyer, no money. Well, you could do it yourself, right? Do a little research. You like researching, right? You got AI now. You could do all this pretty easy. Go talk to Grok. Hey, Grok, how do I get my kid back from Sweden? Fill out this form, that form. Go to a court. The judge gives you a child custody ruling, and then they get your, kid back, and they extradite this dude for kidnapping or something. You didn't do any of that. At that time, my son was living in Sweden. They let him stay there. Okay, you're implying that there was some kind of authority that made a decision here, even though you didn't go to any authorities to get a child custody ruling or any kind of ruling. So, no. No authorities made any decision. It looks like your ex, your hubby, and you are making all the decisions in regards to yourself, lack thereof decisions. It seemed like the court was unfair. What are you talking about? What? What court? You said there was no child custody ruling. But you went to a court and they didn't rule on who has custody? I mean, the guy kidnapped your kid and ran to another country. If there was no ruling of any kind from an American court and you went to some kind of court, wouldn't they find him guilty of kidnapping and get him extradited? Something's not right here. This is very fishy. It seemed like the court was unfair. My argument was that this is, in effect, prevented me from ever seeing my child because I don't have the money to live in Sweden and they didn't care. What? No, this is BS. Something's not right here. I tried to show them text proof Eric wanted to move to the U.S., but it didn't work. They only cared not to return my child to the U.S. Somebody ruled you were unfit. Somebody must have ruled you were unfit. Otherwise, this isn't going to be happening. Some dude just can't abscond with your kid to Sweden or some other foreign country and get away with it unless you don't have any parental rights, okay? Something is very wrong here. This is not how American courts work, especially ones that are rigged in your favor as a woman. He said, dude, if they could, they would put him in the stocks and pillory him. If I had the means, I wouldn't have never left Sweden. Yeah, you think it's a big giant socialist paradise, even though it's a capitalist economy. But they got lots of social safety nets. I like that. I can get me's my Colts 40s more regular. Yeah. I'd have never left Sweden, and if I ever became wealthy enough, I hope to move there and at least visit, although that is a pie-in-the-sky dream. You wealthy? Come on, sweetheart. You're too lazy. You like your pot too much. That's not happening. Okay, so Stinkum replies, okay, I see. It looks like I misread the document, and it was just a temporary order to return the child to your custody while litigation was ongoing or something like that. If there was, then why wasn't the kid returned? We have extradition with Sweden, okay? They ain't North Korea. Then at China, we can extradite people from there, you know. Oh, you did not misread it. I just forgot about this. Oh, so now, oh, she forgot. What? I have a hard time taking this broad seriously. Oh, you're right. I did have custody. I just forgot because I don't give a damn. I mean, what other conclusion can I come to? We're talking about your kid here who's now 10. But you forgot you were given custody? The last message, she's like, what are you talking about? I know what you're talking about. I was never given custody. Oh, right, I was. My bad. I love the cavalier attitude this broad has. How cavalier she is about her kid, who she hasn't seen in ages. Oh, well. It is a local order for Maryland. Maryland? This broad's from Maryland. Oh, yeah, she said she, hates Maryland. She's from Baltimore. Thus, for the United States, for my child to be returned, but because he's in another country, it was not enforceable. Yeah, it is enforceable. It's 100% enforceable. What are you talking about? Yes, I was really deed over. I mean, Tarl pays child support. I'm pretty sure that he's paying that. I find it highly unlikely that he's willingly paying like $3,000 a month, which is well above and beyond. Oh, I mean, maybe he's that generous. Anybody out there know if Tarl has some kind of child support order, or if he's willingly paying around $3,000 a month? But anyway, that's I wouldn't be surprised if he was being forced to pay. And that chick's over there in the Netherlands. I mean, if your former, slam pig boyfriend is over there in Sweden, the Asperger dude, I don't know what she's talking about. It is enforceable. Yes, I was really deed over. My family and I exhausted all funds on local and international legal representation. Is this the family that you hate and that abused you for so many years, but you didn't distance yourself from them? Strange. Oh, but that was just a faux pas on my part. Yeah, I'm too trusting. I'm too kind. Yeah. It hurts me every day that I can't watch my son grow. It hurts you so much you totally forgot you had custody. Yeah. Okay, so in this next post, she's talking about Tarl again because, of course, this is Kiwi Farms, and the only way she believes she's going to get any regular attention and maybe some donos from these people who clearly despise her, at least the majority seem to, is to continue talking about Tarl. Unfortunately, she shot herself in the foot by getting herself booted out of there for punching Tarl in the face for waking her up from nap time. Allegedly. So she goes on to say, I personally love Boone's Farm, but Tarl only drinks Boda boxes and Franzia. Isn't that box wine? Wow. Then he drinks bottom shelf spiced rum, mostly, while vodka or gin sometimes to mix it up. Tarl claims to make like $123,000. He said he made $123,000 last year, but he could only account for like half that. I think we can see where the other half went. Lots and lots of booze, high and low shelf. He was probably buying booze for this broad too until he went completely broke. When I was with him, he would go into Grand Union and do the nip challenge, where he had a poor lady behind the counter give him 5 or 6 miniatures at random. Wow. This would have been a cute thing to do once or twice, but the cashier's tired of it quickly. I would just choose the nips for him when I was sent on his behalf. That's crazy. That's crazy, man. General Insomnia said, did Nikki keep a hard cap on the ABV? If she held off Sticks, would have to walk a fair distance, around about 3 miles, to take the North bus for nearly a full loop and wait 30 minutes, or menace her into taking it to Grand Union or Hannaford. Yeah, because he didn't have a car. He gave his car to Samantha Keister. I don't think it was out of nowhere that Sticks was photographed outside Tennybrook, which is extremely close to his mama's house. I wouldn't be surprised if he hits Dollar General too. By the way, Dollar General's a scam. You think you're getting a good deal, but all the stuff they sell is like the smallest possible container, and you'd actually get more for less money if you went to the grocery store or Walmart or something. I wouldn't be surprised if he hits Dollar General, but when he catches a ride, I could see him going to Beer King, which is generally cheaper. Beer King? When was the last time Tarl drank beer? This dude he's doing the hard liquor, yo. Are you kidding? I would drive him nearly every day to get cigarettes until it snowed. And I find, yeah, dude, get a carton. You got to drive him every day for cigarettes. He's probably low on cash. I don't know. But I think that YouTube Only pays out once a month. Oh, but right, he gets a lot. Even then, if he's getting dono chats, super chats, yeah, it only pays out once a month on the 20th or 21st. Just get a carton, Tarl. Until it snowed, and I finally got him to start buying more packs at a time. Ah, good. God forbid you go out more than, once a week. Or just for work. Yeah, get some actual exercise. We went to get booze a few times a week, yeah. He always went to Grand Union. I don't know what that is. Whenever I think of, train station when I hear that. Whenever I didn't want to drive him, he would say he would get his mom to take him. So his parents are enabling him in his booze stock-ups as well. But I don't think she ever did. Oh, really? Okay. Interesting. Yeah. One of the reasons I didn't leave sooner is because I was worried about him getting alcohol. Oh, my God. Yeah, you love him so much, you don't want him to be without his precious soul-destroying liquor. I know that if he tried to quit cold turkey, there would be a serious health risk. I didn't trust that he could taper it off responsibly. Well, I don't know. We'll see. He's got some booze tests, some drug tests coming up. Although he claims to have gotten a cannabis card for medicinal purposes, I don't know if they'll let that slide. So he got a cannabis card, Tarl, and he's going to claim that he needs it for pain or Lord only knows what. Get himself a medical cannabis card. I'm not sure if that's going to fly in the state that he has charges in and is requiring these drug tests. We'll see. He not only washes his hands when he showers. That's disgusting. I wash my hands before I eat and everything. I mean, what? Also, does anyone know what happened to his crack sparrow hat? There's no butt pirates in the house. The only boundary that Mel's dad can enforce. That's weird. He got rid of the pirate hat? No, I know why. He's in New York now. That's why. He didn't want to get killed. He didn't want to draw attention to himself in that commie, pinko, socialist paradise. Yeah. He can get away with that in Rutland, but not in New York, yo. Some brother, by another mother, is going to off him if he's walking around with a pirate hat. I was worried he left that in Rutland. But you can see the stinky pirate hat behind him on the bed in another video. Oh, man, this stuff is nuts. Nuts. View attachment. No, I don't want to view attachments. Okay, she posted it. She says, I'm so glad he's quitting the alcohol, or at least weaning off a little. Why would you believe he is? Doesn't it only take like 24 to 48 hours for booze to get out of your system? So, I mean, he doesn't really actually have to, go, well, if he's going to, yeah, okay, he would be in major DTs. Even if this dude stopped drinking for 24 hours, he'd be shaking like a leaf, man. He'd be going through some major withdrawal. So he's going to have to wean himself off almost completely, if not completely, to pass this drug test in any believable way. Otherwise, if he tries to go 24, 48 hours without booze so he can pass the alcohol P test, he probably would die. So he has to wean himself off completely, or at least almost completely. No, it has to be complete. It has to be complete, right? Otherwise, he won't pass. Whew, yikes. It'll have to be complete for at least 48 hours. And to wean himself to that point where he can go for 24 to 48 hours without, dying from the DTs, that's going to be rough. I'm so glad he's quit alcohol. He knows he will do time in the slammer. Yeah, he's going to jail for sure. I wish that he had let up off the booze and smoked more weed with me. Sweetheart, I don't think that more drugs is the answer. Okay? Let's replace one brain-rotten drug with another. Yeah. Smoking weed just made him want to drink more, seemingly. Imagine that. Yeah, you feed one addictive behavior, you just get more addictive. Yeah, and want more substances. I think the seizure scared the S out of him, if it was a legit seizure. Probably just detox, and gave him a taste of how serious the problem is. Happy V-Day. So Paul Revere, Pantry Raider, says, you do realize that people aren't going to want to give you cash just to spend on getting stoned, right? Right yourself, girl. So apparently she was talking about how she wants to get, cannabis and get stoned. And, nobody should really have a problem with her doing that, even though for her to be able to do that, that means people would have have to have donated money to her for her to have the access to be able to do that. So she would literally be spending money donated to her out of a sense of charitable giving and spending it on a pot instead of an apartment, which is highly irresponsible. And people had a problem with that, and she has a problem with them having a problem with that. How dare you have a problem with how I spend your money? How dare you hold me to conditionals, you son of a bitch? So she starts by replying, I am right with the world. No, you're not. That's why you're living in your car. People who are right with the world aren't homeless. I am not a girl. Yeah, you are. I'm a grown woman. That is debatable. You are definitely big. I will grant you that. But there are lots of children out there who are quite hefty. And still children. But I am homeless. Yeah, so probably should adhere to any conditionals people put on you. And trying to raise funds to get an apartment. And failing. I mean, you just have to stay homeless long enough, right? Because now you're saving an extra $400 a month, right? And you're not blowing it irresponsibly, right? You're saving that. So you don't have any more rent, right? So you should be able to save enough up on your own. You just need to sleep in your car. Where will I shower? You can get yourself a, what is it? The one of those fitness places, LA Fitness or something, or I forget the name of the chain place, but there's a lot of these gyms that are like $15-20 a month, and you can get unlimited showers, and they got mirrors and they got sinks, and there you go. There's your hygiene option. But I'm cold in my car. Shouldn't be bopping people in the face, yo. I have not spent $1 on weed since I started living here in Vermont. Right, she grifted off of Tarl because he offered her unlimited weed and booze. And you blew that, didn't you? I promise not to spend any money on weed from the funds that I'm raising to get an apartment. Wait, no. But you are doing that if you're spending any money. Oh, I love this. I love the idiocy of this broad. I have this pot here. I have raised $957 on an apartment. Makes me, what's this she makes? $16 an hour or something like that. So 40 hours a week. So $624. Would it be $640? Something like that? Yeah? Is that right? Yeah, $640 before taxes. So she's probably clearing about $500 a week after state and federal and Social Security take a big wet bite out of her big ass. So it's $2,000 a month, and you got to figure gas. It's not going to be 10% of that though, maybe 5. So $25 a week for gas, $475. Food, if she's homeless, she can't really cook. So that could be as much as half because you're having to buy a lot of prepackaged food. So maybe you have $225. Let's say even $250. Let's be generous. $250 at the end of the week. You could save $1,000 a month. I'm taking the money out of that. No, you're taking it out of the money, period. I don't understand why she doesn't get this. You are taking it out of those funds because those funds are not the only funds that are going toward getting you an apartment, but it's also the funds you make at, whatever gas and sip you work at. Don't you understand that? I don't understand why you don't understand that. You're supposed to be saving your own money too. The onus is not on your charitable donators to rent you an apartment. It's their understanding that you're also saving your own money, that you are not depleting your funds on frivolous crap like Monster Energy drinks, which can cost $4 a pop if you get the big 24, 32 ouncer. I forget how big it is. I think it's 24. And, pot and all booze and all that crap. They're not donating it to you because, you see, if they're donating to you and all the onus is on them in their charitable giving to rent you an apartment, they're assuming that you're also donating, that you are also saving up your funds to add to the funds that are donated to you to get an apartment. But if you are spending those funds in any way, shape, or form on anything else other than an apartment or the bare necessities, then you are betraying these people. You're betraying their charitable giving. You are betraying an unspoken agreement that you are being responsible with your money, which is the sole reason, well, maybe not the sole reason they're donating. Maybe some of these people are actually fond of you for all of the content fodder you provided them for, them being able to have stuff to talk about and, ease the burden of their empty lives on Kiwi farms by all the gossip they now have to chitter and chatter about with each other. And, they get to feel more important and above you, and it validates them and makes them feel superior to someone in what is essentially an empty life where they feel inferior to everyone. So you have given them something. You've given them some purpose and some meaning. And you're such a pathetic, human being who's so lowly and self-destructive that they actually get to feel superior to someone for once in their lives. So, that has some value, but you're betraying all of that in regards to them giving you charity when you spend your money on booze and pot. You idiot. So it doesn't matter if you're not spending their money on that stuff. You're spending your own. So you're extremely irresponsible. So you're not really dedicating yourself to getting an apartment. So what the hell are they giving you charity for? See, most people give charity with the understanding that you are doing your best on your own to get on your own 2 feet. And this is to give you a hand up. They're not supposed to do all the lifting. Most of the heavy lifting is supposed to fall on you. And of course, the understanding from the get-go should be that, you're in this situation through no fault of your own, which isn't the case. The exact opposite is the case. You are, in fact, in this situation because of your own faults, foibles, bad decisions. People have chosen to ignore that and give you help anyway. And I find that unusual. And they're expecting you to act responsibly. Okay, yeah, they're stupid. The fault lies on them for expecting you, somebody who has made poor life choices to date and who is homeless through your own faults, to make good decisions. So, yeah. Oh, shame on them for expecting you to make the right choice when to date you've made all the wrong choices. The funds I'm raising are for the security deposit for a place to live so I don't have to be homeless. But you just said, I promise not to spend any money from the funds I'm raising to get an apartment. I don't know why you think it matters that you've taken this money and segregated it, kept it in an account, a separate account, or, isn't it going into your primary bank account? All this money is getting intermingled, right? So what are you saying? If they donate a total of $927, are you saying that as long as you keep a balance of $927 in that bank account, it doesn't really matter what you spend your money on? What are you talking about, lady? Wow! I did not realize that there were people so judgmental that they would withhold charity from a person who smoked cannabis. Oh, okay, sweetheart. You're not entitled to anybody's money. And they can withhold their money for whatever reason they want. And if they expect you not to go, and by the way, they're very reasonable reasons. Why would they give you money when you are acting irresponsibly with your own? What? Doesn't make sense. Especially if it's for medical reasons. What medical reasons do you have for smoking pot? Come on. What are you talking about? You made it very clear you love to toke up just for the pleasure, just for the joy of it, just to escape this horrible, evil world. And what medical reasons? Mental health reasons, more likely? I need to escape. By the way, I don't even know what this stuff does. I tried the THC once. It did nothing. I felt nothing. What does this stuff do for you? It doesn't do anything. And granted, I wasn't smoking that. By the way, I took the THC. It was like a chocolate or something. Didn't do anything. Although I'm high on life, so I don't need to escape reality. I love reality. Oh, but this chick apparently doesn't. And that's a medical problem. Yeah. I don't know. Oh, no, I have pain because, I'm a 300-pound slam pig. Well, lose some weight. No! Give me money for pot. But it's not giving me money because I have the exact amount of money in my account that you all have donated today. So you see, that's a justification. You can't tell me what to do with my money. You can only tell me what to do with your money. What? Oh, this is so stupid. This is so stupid. I don't understand how people can be so cold, callous, catastrophically ignorant. Like yourself? Sea-ish and cruel. But now I know. Oh, yeah. Okay. This only somebody who has somebody literally giving them free money could complain and try to make themselves into a victim. People gave me money, and they expected things from me. Oh, you judgmental bastards! How dare you! That's insane! Wow! Here we go. She goes on with this more self-serving twaddle. It's abhorrent to judge someone for smoking. Well, you don't judge somebody for drinking alcohol. If they use my money to buy it, I do. Look. If you're some Skid Row bum, which I guess you are, but if you're one of these Skid Row bums that stands around the exits of freeways and highways with a sign that's held up and says, give me money. I'll be honest, I'm going to spend it on booze. Okay, if somebody gives them money, that's on them. That person that gave them money can't later complain, that son of a bitch, he actually spent it on booze. Because that drag, that bum, that skell, that cardboard box living piece of garbage, he was honest. He said he was going to spend it on booze, you know? Can't really fault the person. They told you. What did you expect? You knew, because they told you. Meanwhile, you're telling people you're going to spend this money, you are going to put it toward rent. That implies, yeah, okay, now granted, hey, you didn't come out and actually say the words, I'm not spending a dime on anything but food, gas to get to work after I camp, wherever I camp, to try and stay warm and not get, taken advantage of in the middle of the night. And I'm just buying food and gas, and that's it. Nothing else. No, you didn't come out and say that. Okay, but that's implied. When you say you're homeless and you don't want to be homeless and you're in desperate need, and this money that you're donating is to rent an apartment, it's implied that you're also saving your own money and putting it exclusively towards those ends. Nobody's thinking that you're going out and buying pot. Nobody's thinking you're going out and buying booze. Nobody thinks anybody can be that irresponsible. You're essentially misrepresenting yourself. And you say, well, I never said I wouldn't spend it on pot. Oh, it's like, wow. Could you be any more disingenuous, sweetheart? Really? And you're going to pretend that you're clueless now? Are you just being purposely obtuse, or are you really this dumb? Do you really check where your charity goes? They should. Look, let me explain something to you. Charity is supposed to be discriminating in nature. It only started being indiscriminate when the government took over charitable giving, i.e. stealing the tax dollars from productive citizens to give to unproductive ones so they could buy votes and stay in power and continue to get voted for. Okay? But before that, there were community aid organizations. And people would go before these community aid organizations that people would pony up to willingly. The money wasn't stolen from them. They would pony up a little bit of their own money, just a little, but everybody put in, because if they did, then they knew that if their day came, their time of need came, that because they had ponied up on a regular basis, that they could get help from that community aid organization. And that community aid organization had a board, and that board would sit down with you and say, hey, why do you need our help? Oh, the guy, it's mostly guys that worked at that time, and let's be honest, all the real important jobs, it's still guys doing most of them, would sit there and say, I fell in a hole, broke my leg, it's not my fault, I need X amount to take care of my family, what's your rent, how many kids you got, they're going to look at the current market price of this and that, they're going to sit down, they're all going to do the math, they're going to whisper together, they're going to look, they're going to do some math, okay, this is how much you probably need a month, we're going to allot you this for 2 months until you're back on your feet and get back to work. Bingo! Now any Tom, Dick, and Harry who does bad in life, who makes bad decisions like you, thinks they deserve charity. And there's no discrimination going on. There should be discrimination going on. Yes, they should check. Yes, they should do due diligence. You should get 0. Oh, yeah, do you really check? You should. And I don't fault these people for checking and verifying, especially when you say, I'm going to buy pot. Oh, yeah, do people really check on somebody to see whether or not they consume alcohol? They should. You should be buying 0 alcohol. Do you need alcohol? No. Do you need pot? No. Case closed. Do you need a house? Yes. Do you have any excess money? No. Do you have the luxury of spending money on pot when you're homeless and need a home? and need to put money toward that. No. What the hell are you doing then? Case closed. Shut up. That's demonstrably more destructive than herb. What? Now get out of here. Talk about cope. Off the charts cope. What are you talking about? No, it's not. It's people holding you accountable, which we all know you don't want. You can't handle being held accountable. You have never, ever presented yourself as anything other than a victim. When you talk about yourself in a way that you think is you taking responsibility, all you use is positive adjectives and euphemisms. You refer to yourself as good and open and loving, and all the things that have happened to you are just because you're too good and too kind. That's not taking accountability, pinhead. I can't make anybody give me money. You finally said something that is correct. You're more likely to get it, though, if you act responsibly and in the correct manner. Anyone who doesn't want to give me money can jump on their high horse and trot away. Well, you know, that's not the way to talk to people that you want something from. But okay. So somebody named Soapmore says, so anyone who doesn't want to fund you because of your choices is a cold, callous, ignorant C. Noted. Good luck with your begging. I love how she responds. She says, you twisted my words. No, that's exactly what you said. He's quoting you verbatim. I said anybody who would withhold charity from somebody because that person smoked an herb for medical relief is cold, callous, and whatever. No. Come on. Okay, come on, sweetheart. Come on. You're elevating cope to a new level, okay? Pot, unless you have cancer or some kind of debilitating pain, you've got no excuse. Now, don't give me some nonsense about mental health reasons or anxiety. Studies show that large amounts of THC will actually increase anxiety, not decrease it. Only a very small microdoses has been shown to maybe possibly help with anxiety. So I don't know what you're taking this stuff for, but unless it's for some kind of debilitating pain, and by the way, get some ibuprofen, sweetheart. Get some Advil. You don't need pot. It's way expensive, all right? The return on investment, all right? It's not worth it. Smoking, by the way, smoking pot, I mean, there are better, more effective, efficient ways to ingest the cannabis to get what is the psychoactive ingredient, the active ingredient that you're trying to get, which I think is THC. There's better, more efficient ways. Cheaper ways, too. But you're choosing the most expensive way, and this stuff is not cheap. There are other ways to get pain relief, if that's what we're talking about, physical pain relief that are cheaper, that you can afford. Smoking pot to alleviate pain, and come on, that's just, for most people, that's BS. They make that claim so they can toke up and get high, right? That's just a smoke screen, isn't it? For most people, that's just a bunch of BS. That's just something they say because pain is amorphous and subjective and hard to quantify, and so they can make that claim and nobody can disprove it. And so they can get their legal pot and toke away. You're not in a position to have that kind of luxury. And for some people, yes, it does help with their pain. You are able enough to knock out the teeth of a guy that's 6'5". Expect me to believe you have some kind of debilitating pain that is so bad that it is interfering with your mobility when you're knocking out the teeth of grown men who are younger than you? I mean, yeah, granted, Tarl is pretty fragile, but even still, he's still a man. He's supposed to be more sturdy than you, although you're built like a linebacker, I guess. I don't know. But, sweetheart, if you're able to do that, you're not in all that much pain. And if this is for mental health purposes, get the F out of here. Get out of here. There's other ways. Take some ginseng or yellow root or lion's mane or something. I don't know. There are other alternatives, okay? And I don't know. If you've got some kind of mental health issues or anxiety, I got to believe there's other alternatives, okay? Because this is not the best way to treat that. This can actually exaggerate those problems, all right? And I doubt that you're token, just listening to the way you talk about using cannabis, I doubt that you toke at a low level. You are not ingesting microdoses of THC. So any mental health issues you have are probably going to be just, it's going to feed them, not starve them or treat them. Yeah, medical relief, what a bunch of crap. So I don't think that the people that donated you see, because the more, by the way, you don't seem to understand this, how math works. Any money that you spend on pot, every dollar you spend on pot is one less dollar in the My New House to Escape Homelessness Fund. So you're literally removing money from a pot that other people are putting into in good faith, believing you're going to use it to get a house. So let me get this straight. You expect people that you don't know from Adam to be more concerned and more serious and dedicated about getting you a house than you. What? They're not donating their money expecting you to spend it on pot, on cannabis, on getting high. And you're making the claim that you have to for medical purposes, which is spurious crap. We both know that. And there's other ways you can get pain relief and relief from anxiety that'll work equally as well, especially in the mental health sense, or better, and be much cheaper. Meanwhile, they expect you to do the same, but you're not doing the same. So you're kind of breaking an unspoken agreement there. But I never came out and said I wouldn't spend my money on booze and drugs. They shouldn't expect me to go cold turkey off of the, off the marijuana. Okay, so Nikki's last post, she's replying to somebody named General Insomnia. I find the anecdote about C.S. Lewis endearing. The one where his pal chastises him for giving money to a beggar, since they would only spend it on booze, and Lewis replies that he intended to spend that money on booze anyway. But it's his money. I mean, you do what you want with your money, but, and I know what you're going to say. Well, getting the money I'm spending for my job is my money, so I should be able to spend what I want. Yeah, but you see, there's a problem because you're falsely misrepresenting yourself as somebody who is destitute, which implies that you're going to be putting all of your resources, every penny, into getting a house, which has to be the case. Otherwise, you wouldn't be raising money for getting a house and asking for charity. Do you understand? It assumes you don't have the resources to do anything else. If you do have the resources to do anything else, then why would anybody donate to you? Charity or otherwise? Crickets. However, you need to find the tone to beg. Yeah, she's got a holier-than-thou superior attitude. I've never understood this. The lowest of the low humans have this Dunning-Kruger effect going on, where they think they are the highest, the most righteous, and the smartest and superior to everyone, and that's why they're down and out, because they're just so good, so great, so wonderful, so awesome. Others just can't handle being in their august presence. They want to keep me down because I'm a reminder of how lowly they actually are. Yeah. Well, they can pay rent and, pay for food and cover their own expenses. Meanwhile, you are making all these errors, these mistakes, these decisions. Somebody who's supposedly so brilliant and superior and supposedly a philosopher by your own words, even though philosophy was created by Socrates himself as a way to solve real-world problems, which you are incapable of, but you claim to be one anyway. And, you're this great, you're this wonderful, but you're making all these mistakes, and other people have to pay for them now. And I continue to, and I'm buying pot too, and I'm using the excuse that it's for medical reasons, amorphous, vague reasons that I don't want to outline, because if I actually outlined them, you'd see it's BS, that I don't actually need to spend money on. So I just say, medical, and that's supposed to shut you up. When really I just need it for, getting high and escaping reality, and the medical stuff is just a, excuse, a ruse, a cover, as it is in most cases with this medical marijuana crap. And, you need to pay for that too, right? You need to pay for that as well. He goes on to say, you're a beggar. Find in yourself the sense that neither the world nor the Kiwi Farms is your perpetrator. Well, she definitely believes the world is her perpetrator, that's for sure, regardless of any lip service she gives otherwise. I prefer precision in my giving. It's called discrimination, and it's not a bad word. I can't deprive my family, and I care deeply where the most benefit goes. You ain't gonna go to this broad. She's gonna buy booze and drugs. Cannabis isn't a drug the way I use it. That being said, we all know the score. If you want to roll every dollar and smoke it, waste it, ruin yourself, that's all for you. Yeah, but you need to be doing it with your own money. You're actually doing it with their money because you're going to use their money to contribute to renting an apartment. You're planning to commingle these funds, you're planning to use them together, and even if you weren't, they're paying this money, and then that's money that you have and doesn't get taken out of your account for the pot. Do you understand? Well, now I have that $957 in my account, and I have my $1,000 a month of my money. That's just going to be mad money, right? No. So you're still spending their money. You just don't get it because you're too stupid. Do you understand? The world is not my perpetrator. Replies, Nikki, Kiwi Farms is not my perpetrator. You're just telling people what you think they want to hear now. I never claimed the world of Kiwi Farms were at fault for my problems. Yes, you did. You've done it consistently throughout your entire stay on Kiwi Farms. What are you talking about? You blamed everybody else except yourself. I am oppressed. I failed at life. That's true. Now she's speaking truth because she needs money. Yeah. Now she's seeing the wells drying up. I don't know how much she's raised to date. I haven't checked her GoFundMe in a while. I haven't checked it, in fact, until right after it started. I guess the donos have dried up. Yeah, well, you got nothing left to offer, honey. Some people have had some fun feeling righteous and superior and holier than thou toward you, something they probably never gotten to do in their entire lives. And so, to return the favor for that wonderful feeling, some of them actually donated money to you, but now you have nothing left to offer. You're not in a Tarl's orbit anymore, and that's on you, you big dummy. Now you got to spend your own money on pot. I don't have enough money to rent an apartment. Well, maybe if you stop buying pot. But I need it for something medical that I'm not going to tell you, because then you'd know it was BS. Even though I am an adult, I think that's debatable. I don't think you are an adult. I'm going to be honest. I don't think you are. I don't have a job. I do not have a job that allows me enough money to buy a home. Sweetheart, okay, now come on. Most Americans these days don't have the money to buy a house. But you're giving a false dichotomy here. It's either homeless or house. No, there's a middle ground. And you would be able to afford that middle ground if you weren't so irresponsible. And again, you had 7 months living in Tarl's house with dirt cheap rent of $400 a month. You had plenty left over if you'd have just marshaled your resources in a conservative manner. But oh no. But I don't know what you bought. But you clearly didn't save it. It's nobody's fault but my own. You say that now. Could you be more specific? No. I do not have a job that allows me enough money to buy a home. That's on you. That's on you. Why didn't you accrue the necessary human capital in your past, get the skills required, huh? It is nobody's fault but my own. I'm a failure at life. Yeah, oh, woe is me. Smallest violin's playing for you, honey. Everything that happens to me is my fault. That's not true. Now you see. Now she's not being serious. Everything that happens to me is my fault. That's not necessarily true, but the things being discussed in this thread 100% are your fault. Yeah. Nothing else is anybody's fault but my own. I have chosen to... Oh, here, here's the abdication of responsibility right here. Everything that comes after but. I'm not going to say, but my own. Yeah, there was a but, though, before that. I have chosen to pursue love. There's a but there. We just don't see it. There it is right there. It's not been used in that manner, but this is a but statement. But, you see, I've chosen to pursue love instead of pursuing a career. See, you see. So I chose right. I chose positively. I chose what I was supposed to choose. I chose what, women are supposedly supposed to choose. And look at me now. I screwed up. I chose to be a traditional woman. This lover of polycules and eating out other broads and having throuples and quadruples or whatever. Oh yeah, I chased love with my love of poon and D and everything and food and I was like George Costanza in that Seinfeld episode where he was eating and having sex at the same time. I combined all the physical pleasures of life into one giant throuple. Food orgy, and it just blew up everything. I was a lover, not a hater. That's why my life went to hell, not because I made bad choices and embraced materialism and hedonism and was in no way, shape, or form traditional. This is great. I love the coat. Yeah, I chose love instead of, you chose love of pleasure. Okay? You chose love of all-you-can-eat buffets at the same time you were getting banged and eating out cooch. Okay? That's what you chose. Get out of here. Instead of pursuing a career, and it is for that reason that I do not have enough money to be in a poor apartment. So Jesus just abdicated all responsibility by saying, I made the right decision based on what society told me I should do. It's not my fault. That's essentially what you're saying without saying it, but that's what you're saying. Say you're not responsible. I see. This is great. What a dummy. I'm tired of people putting words in my mouth. It's my fault that I'm homeless. I made all the right choices. I made the choices other people told me to make, that my mama told me to make, that society told me to make, and it blew up in my face. Yeah, okay. It's my fault that I'm homeless. It is not Tarl's fault. Yeah, well, you punched him in the mouth, honey, for waking you up. I don't believe this nonsense about him going for a sword. And you knew all the stories. You knew the lore. You knew what to say to get people to believe you. I don't believe that you knocked out his tooth and bloodied his nose in one blow just by bopping him accidentally with your fist as you were tussling and wrestling with him for a sword, okay? Despite your gigantic girth and fat woman strength by having to haul around all that extra weight, it's not going to be existent in your arms. And Tarl, even though he's a willow wand stick figure of a man, is probably going to be stronger than you, okay? Out of shape blob woman compared to out of shape stick figure skinny fat dude. He still got you beat, okay? So there's no way that this was accidental. It was intentional. You put all your force, all your strength, all your focus into that blow that you knocked out one of his teeth, okay? And I believe it was simply because he woke you up. So you're full of you-know-what. It's also not Kiwi Farm's fault. It's not the world's fault. But that's exactly what you said. It is the world's fault. You did say exactly that, and people see that. Which is why they don't want to donate to you anymore. I did not expect one dime from you, but you did. How dare you not donate and give charity because I want to smoke gumja for medical reasons. I understand that you are not my friend. I understand that you could find it in yourself to verify my employment and disseminate it. You have a job. So what? But who cares? You have a job that can't afford you an apartment. That's your choice. You spent 7 months paying $400 a month. You saved no money. I don't know how that's possible. $400 a month, and you're making $500 a week after taxes, probably. I mean, at the very least, you're making $450, $475. You're working 40 hours a week at $16 an hour, so you're clearing $640. After tax, it's going to be like around $500. And they're not going to take that much more than that because you're very low income in that range. Where did it all go? Where did it all go? The car you drive, Nissan, it's not that much of a gas guzzler. And you're not driving 100 miles a day. You're spending, $25 a week on gas? You had plenty of money. You would have had plenty of money. No, come on. You're just irresponsible. It's not about you having a full-time job. Just because you have a full-time job does not mean you're entitled to housing. Does not mean you're entitled to a home. That's a pinko commie socialist idea and belief. Okay? Total nonsense. So, you could disseminate my court documents, but you claimed I was asking you to hunt down Sam when I simply asked you to do the same for her. Oh, I don't know what this is about. Okay. She's going off onto a tangent. Anyway, so there you go. Sekhmet's melting down on Kiwi Farms because people are holding to her account. They're holding her to account for essentially saying that, hey, I should be able to, with my money, smoke pot, right? Even though if I spend $10 of my money on pot, then that's 10 less dollars I have to put toward rent, security deposit. Hence, that's 10 more dollars I'm going to have to take and use from the charity account for those purposes. So even though I say I'm not spending your money on pot, I actually am spending your money on pot. You can't make this stuff up. So there you go. There's the latest from Sekhmet 666, aka Nikki. She's imploding because people are actually expecting her to be responsible with her money, because if she spends $100 of her money on pot, booze, anything other than necessities, bare essentials, then that's $100 that has to come out of the money they're donating. But she doesn't see it that way, and yet she's a special genius, brilliant philosopher, the next incarnation of Aristotle. Okay, yeah, you have a keen grasp of logic, sweetheart. But anyway, let me know what you think in the comments, and please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you have not already, where I dole out the RP in generous amounts, and they are the size of horse tranquilizers. These RPs will choke you out if you try to swallow them in one go. You gotta cut that stuff up into halves, into quarters. I give such large RPs to people, baby. It's quite a value. So, don't be shy. Feel free to give. If you like my content, feel free to follow me on Patreon, become a donator there, leave a super chat via YouTube, or you can donate to my GoFundMe. You'll find all those links in the description, as well as all my social media. And on that note, I am out of here. I am the realist, also known as the Bachelor Philosopher, and I wish you all a good and pleasant day. Take care.